Guys, it's Trainer P here. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about motivation and what that means to me, and hopefully you guys will be able to reflect a little bit in your hearts. But I believe that motivation is kind of the superficial level of something so much deeper that pushes us, challenges us, helps us to stay focused, empowers us. And so for me, just kind of a background. Back in 2016, I should say 2016, I went into hypertrophy training, which means the building of your body, the strength, the size, the mass. And so I ended up hitting my goal, and I was very happy. And then I ended up getting engaged, had wedding plans, focusing on helping my fiance move in. Just there's a lot with work, a new job. So I ended up losing a lot of the weight and the muscle that I had built, and so that was a little disappointing for me. So I went back at the end of 2016. I went back into weight training, back into hypertrophy training, and so I really enjoyed that. And actually, I felt like my body had a better comeback at the end of 2016 than it did in the beginning of 2016. So I was really happy. And right around when Irma came, I had some different goals. I changed them a little bit and said, okay, so if I have the size and shape I want, can I tweak some areas? And so that was kind of the superficial question. Can I tweak some areas? And then it came down to, well, why tweak that area? Okay, what does that do for me? Why do I want that change? And I have to challenge you to ask yourself the same thing. So, if losing 2 back fat rolls, if that makes you what? Why do you have to lose that? What does that do for you? And I believe that, guys, goals and motivation is stemming from here, or I should say it should stem from your heart, and not just from I want to look better, or I want to feel like I was in high school, because that's a roller coaster. That is something that, if you're not strong in your motivation, you're not strong in your consistency, it's going to come and go. And that motivation to say, oh, I want to be like I was in high school, and the next day, it wasn't, you know what, I'm 30 some years old, that's too far. It's not going to happen. And then you're right back to a different goal. So again, I think that's important, that your motivation comes from here. And I had to ask myself, so if I get cut, or if I want to get into muscular endurance training, why? And why was because I want to step into a different element. Well, why do I want to step into a different element? Okay, well, I think I would be a little bit happier. I think I would, maybe be somebody that has a bigger testimony. And so my questions were getting deeper and deeper, and I was kind of peeling back the onion, per se. And so once that happened, it was a decision of, okay, so when do I start this goal? And when Irma came, it was that week Irma did come, was the week I kind of wanted to start the goal. And so a part of me was like, stress levels are high, we got to deal with a lot of other things. Let me start after. And I think that's something that happens to everybody. We have an idea, and then it's like, let me start later. It didn't work out this week. Let's try it next week. And I believe that sets us up for even more disappointment. It's very rare that you can continue after you keep pulling back week after week after week. So anyways, when Irma did come around, it really helped me to say, this is not an excuse. If I'm really unhappy about, my body, if I have 2 back fat rolls, or if I got, a double chin, or whatever your fitness goals are that you want to change, like, you can do it. You can change it. And so when Irma came, me and my husband ended up working out, I believe, the day right before, and then a day or two after. And it was just because I wanted that rhythm. I wanted to say, you know what, I could beat this. Irma's not going to allow so much chaos in my life that I can't hit the goal. I can't start like I wanted to. And I believe that's a strong word you have to reach and preach into your life, to say, there's no storm in my life that's strong enough to take me over to say I can't start my goals. Because if you're always allowing that, whether it's, I got 8 kids, I'm going for my school, I'm married, I got to cook. Like, if you always allow these excuses, these storms to come in, you're always going to feel in whirlwind. And you're going to wait till the whirlwind, slows down to say, okay, I can do it. But sometimes doing that doesn't really fulfill your ability to push like you thought you could. That's a deep thing right there, but we're not going to go into that. So anyways, moving on, because sidetracked. Going into Irma, working out, fired me up to say, all right, so here we go. I'm going to get into this cut season. What does that mean? I have to hit 2-a-days, which is cardio in the morning, workouts at night, or vice versa. And that's a whole nother thing, guys. If you're new into exercise, I do not recommend 2-a-days. Again, your nutrition has to come in. There's a lot. So please don't, jump right into 2-a-days if this is a new journey for you. So anyways, then it was like, okay, well, here's the issue. Some of my days are 15 hours. I got school. I'm studying. I'm a newlywed. I need to have time with my husband. And of course, my prayer time with me and God. And I'm looking at my schedule and I was like, and I feel like we all go through that, right? We all go through, I don't know if I can fit it in, or I'll have to squeeze it. And so I ended up just saying to myself, do it. And just focus on completing 1 week of this, 2-a-days for 1 week. So I started my flush with water, and I said, okay. So when Monday hit, it was a long day for me, and I was already tired. So I, ate my dinner and then just literally took a shower and was going into bed, and I'm pulling back the sheets. And a part of me was like, oh, okay, so you're just going to go back into bed when you just yesterday said you're going to start your cutting season. Okay, that's great. Yeah, good choice there, Patience. Good choice. So I was like, man, you know what? I have to do this. Why? At the end of the day, I cannot be mad at anybody else but myself if I don't reach this goal. And again, I cannot be mad at anybody else but myself if I don't reach this goal. And am I going to look back 30 days and said, you know what, I didn't reach it because of that. That's a stupid excuse, okay? I don't care what it is. It's a stupid excuse. Change the things you can change. So I did. I ended up going out, went to the gym, worked out, and came back, and I felt good. So then day 2, day 3, day 4, and it was like, started my 2-a-days. I was getting my mornings and my late nights, or just maybe my mid-afternoon cardio and my late night workouts. And it was starting to build my confidence. It was starting to build just the joy inside of me. I think I was a little bit pleasant person to be around after work. And that's another thing. Women and men, notice, how you act in your behavior to other people, your kids, your spouse. If you're unhappy about your body, it's going to reflect in your personality. I don't want to say your character, because that's deep. If your body affects you like that, that's a little bit different level. But anyways, so with that, I said, okay, so I'm feeling better. I already finished my full week of flush. I'm hitting 2-a-days now. Like, it gives you the power to say, nobody can take this away from me. And I believe in that. I believe that motivation has to be strong enough so that you don't allow the superficial things to pull you out. And when I say that, go to a restaurant and, somebody's ordering a big chocolate cake and you're like, oh, okay, so was the reason that you have your goal to lose weight or gain muscle, is that strong enough? Is that mean deep enough for you to say that cake isn't worth it? And for me, that's what it is. So because the change I want has to do with not only just the happiness, but how I see myself and how I view my the inside of me, and how I view that reflects the outside of me. It's so much deeper than cake. It's so much deeper than Sprite. It's so much deeper than Coke. It's so much deeper than just all, sugary items. It's so much deeper than that. So I just challenge you that, your motivation should be coming in from the heart and from what you really want. And you have the power to change it. You have the power to grow and to be better and to change yourself. And don't allow the storms and excuses of life to do that to you. So I just want to encourage that with you guys. Hopefully motivation kind of challenges you in different ways. And one of the things, too, I forgot to mention was that one of my best motivation partners is kind of moving and different. She's moving in her life in different areas, and so we're not able to connect like we were. And I just say that because sometimes you might have a trainer or maybe a motivational group or whatnot that separates or changes. And don't let that define you. Don't let that stop you, because again, that's just another excuse to say your motivation wasn't worth it. And I believe everybody's is, as long as it's coming from here. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and let's enter to October feeling that motivation, digging deeper within yourself. And you'll hear from me again. We got about 2 more weeks, and then I'll show my before and afters. All right, guys, have a good rest of your Sunday.